going on, everybody? This is Brandon down here at Snake River Fly, coming at you again with another tutorial. This one today is a little more geared towards the ice fishermen that are floating around out there. So this is kind of a bug that we've been using for the last couple of years, utilizing the Matsu pseudo worms. At first I was just basically plucking them off, sticking them on a tungsten while I was out there, which works great. But started experimenting with a few different things and was finding that the trout on some of our local, not local, southern lakes, we have a bunch of stocked rainbows, hybrids, stuff like that, seem to really key in on this when we added a little extra jazz. So I got a couple different colors that have been working really well for me personally. We got this purple one here, my personal favorite, the hot pink. And then this one is the plum tail, but it's kind of the perfect looking little bloodworm. But the Matsu worms come in like 18 different colors, so and we got more 0G colors and stuff than we know what to do with as well. So sky's the limit. But what I have here in the vise is a number 10. This is you can use a Matsu J1, J2, or the SRF jig hook. But Matsu J1 and J2 work perfect for this. This is a Matsu slotted bead. These are going to be new to the website. This is a 4.6, so pretty dang big. Tungsten slotted that I have here on the front, and then I'm just using a hot pink heavier thread just to kind of help me build up a base. So one thing that I've found with tying your own ice jigs and stuff is either A, you can go buy the little teardrops that are pre-made. They're fantastic, but they can be a little expensive, and you have very limited hook, shank room to really tie anything on there. But the issue is when you tie like on these is a lot of times they don't show up on your transducer, right? So you're not getting great readings. They're coming in and out, and the reason is because you're not wide enough and it's not able to ping and give you that signal back. So what I've started doing is taking some bead chain eyes, and you can play around with your sizes. These ones right here, I believe, are the smaller, I think they're medium, sorry, and just a silver. And we're just gonna stack these right behind the bead here and just figure eight those things in. It's going to add a little bit of weight, a little bit of profile, but the biggest thing with the profile, not necessarily for the fish, but just if you are using any kind of electronics, this really helps it show up on your graph a little bit better. So we just have those tied in there, and you can see that really widens it out. It doesn't make it too gaudy and obnoxious. And now we'll take our thread 3/4 of the way down the shank like so, and just touching wraps, bring that sucker up to in front of the bead. And now I've already taken a hot pink and one of the pseudo worms. Like I said, they come on these big strands like this. They're $3.99 for I think 15. They're pre-tapered, they're super durable, and like I said, come in a ton of colors. So I'm going to take just the top portion of this here, and I'm just going to trim off just a hair just to give me the right length. Take my hook out of my vise, and we're just going to thread this on just a little ways. I'm going to thread it just as it starts to curve up the shank, and I'm going to pop it through. We're going to pop that back in our vise. Play around with your sizes depending on your fishery. This seems to be the perfect length for the size of fish we have now. I did spill the super glue everywhere, so what you can't see on the desk is the pile of stuff that is glued to the desk. So at this point I would add a little bit of super glue here. The super glue doesn't eat through these like some of the other products that are out there on the market. It's actually recommended if you try to tie through it, it will cut it. So super glue is key. If you don't want to add super glue to this, that allows you, something that I've done from time to time, you can pull this worm off and then you can add different colors for different situations later on. So we're just gonna slide that up there, get that thing popped on how we want it. You can see this is already all over the place, wiggling around. So once we got that there, what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our two different things. I will tie them without the legs. If you want a little more profile, a little more action, you can tie in these little legs here. So for this one, I am going to tie in a couple sets of our Bloody Mary laser legs. I'm going to trim those in half and get them lined up. This is just one strand that I've taken, trimmed into two, and then we're just going to use our barbell eyes and just figure eight, or our bead chain eyes, and we'll just figure eight those guys in. Makes it super easy, and they slide in right behind those eyes, giving you those two perfect little legs. Not only does this give you some profile, but also if you let it sit on the bottom, it does help it kind of kickstand and stay up. And so now that we got those tied in, we're going to trim those fairly short. That way they don't impede the action here. We just want them for a little more body. They'll kick out, and they will wiggle and jiggle a little bit there. 0G in our shrimp. I'm going to take out just a small little clump of that, and we're going to noodle dub that onto the thread. We're going to use this to cover our tracks. Fill in that gap. A couple wraps in front of the bead, and then we'll just go through and figure eight a few times through our eyes, just to kind of clean that up a little bit. Getting our thread where we want it. Then we'll use our fancy vise here. We're going to invert that. And then if there's any thread, like on this one that I have exposed, I'm going to take another really small clump of that zero gravity dub. We're going to lay that right on top. And maybe this is the carp fisherman in me, but I couldn't resist putting this little mohawk on here. It adds awesome action, softens the bug up a little bit, and gives you just a really good all-arounder. It's got crazy cool movement when you're jigging it. And the nice thing about the zero gravity dub is if you are, fishing these on dead sticks, anything like that, that stuff is just constantly moving and wiggling around. So a couple whip finishes there in front, like that hot pink thread, just because it gives you that hot spot too. And that right there, we'll trim our marabou up just a little bit on our 0G. And bada bing, bada boom, there you have it. This is a pretty effective ice jig that we've been fishing, like I said, south of town, Chesterfield, Hawkins, just to name a few. Been working on trout, panfish, everything kind of alike. So this is definitely one to check out if you're into fishing the hard water. We appreciate you guys watching, and if you haven't subscribed already, we would greatly appreciate it. The thumbs up and all that good jazz definitely goes a long ways and helps us out a ton. So yet again, appreciate you watching, and happy time.